Recording in progress.
ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. I was born in the darkest ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torch of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishnapreshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshe Tarine. जय श्री कृष्णा चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंदा श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा. हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. Okay, so continuing with introduction, and we are reading a short life sketch of Lord Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So now we are seeing that Lord has taken sannyas, and he is going around the places to preach, and he is also meeting his associates. So that's very important thing, that Lord whenever descends to this material world, his associates always come with him, and then he feels very happy to interact with them, meet them. So Ramanand Rai is such an associate of Lord Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So I'll start, and whoever is ready, they please raise their hand, and we will take turns. So Ramanand Rai happened to be in government service. So he was a worldly person, outwardly looking. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu never used to meet worldly people. So he didn't meet King Prataparudra, although he wanted to meet Lord Chaitanya because he was a devotee of Lord Chaitanya. But only after a long time, when Lord Chaitanya sufficiently tested him, then only he allowed King Prataparudra to see him. But Lord Ramananda Rai was his associate, and even though he was outwardly in a materialistic work, but still he was a great devotee, he was a pure devotee. So they were discussing the topics like what is pure devotion, and then Ramananda Rai was telling different things, that okay, just do work for Krishna or Varnashram or different ways, but everything Lord Chaitanya was telling that this is external. But finally when he said that hearing from pure devotees about glories of Krishna, following in the footsteps of pure devotees, so that Lord Chaitanya agreed upon. So we will move forward. All these topics discussed by the Lord and Sri Ramananda Rai, there were still more elevated spiritual talks between the two great personalities. And we purposely withhold those topics for the present, because one has to come to the spiritual plane before further talks with Ramananda Rai can be heard. We have presented further talks of Sri Ramananda Rai with Lord Chaitanya in another book, Teachings of Lord Chaitanya. So Prabhupada is saying that. At the conclusion of this meeting, Sri Ramananda Rai was advised by Lord to retire from service and come to Puri, so that they could live together and relish a transcendental relationship. Sometime later, Sri Ramananda Rai retired from the government service and took a pension from the king. He returned to his residence in Puri, where he was one of the most confidential devotees of the Lord. There was another gentleman at Puri of the name Shikhi Mahiti, who was also a confidant like Ramananda Rai. The Lord used to hold confidential talks on spiritual values with 3 or 4 companions at Puri, and he passed 18 years in that way in spiritual trance. His talks were recorded by his private secretary Sri Damodar Goswami, one of the 4 most intimate devotees. So these talks were recorded by Damodar Goswami, and they were used to produce Sri Chaitanya Charitamrit. So all those pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The Lord extensively traveled all over the southern part of India. The great saint of Maharashtra, known as Saint Tukaram, was also initiated by the Lord. Saint Tukaram, after initiation by the Lord, overflooded the whole of the Maharashtra province with Sankirtan movement, and the transcendental flow is still rolling on in the southwestern part of the great Indian peninsula. The Lord excavated from South India 2 very important old literatures, namely the Brahma Samhita and Krishna Karnamrita. So Brahma Samhita was such a great Shastra that is Lord Brahma's prayers to Krishna, original. But only one chapter could be found in Brahma Samhita, because so many different rulers ruled India, so they destroyed many things. So these 2 books, Brahma Samhita and Krishna Karnamrita, and these 2 valuable books are authorized studies for the person in devotional line. The Lord then returned to Puri after his South Indian tour. On his return to Puri, all the anxious devotees of the Lord got back their life, and the Lord remained there with continued pastimes of his transcendental realizations. The most important incident during that time was his granting audience to King Prataprudra. King Prataprudra was a great devotee of the Lord, and he considered himself to be one of the servants of the Lord entrusted with sweeping the temple. This submissive attitude of king was very much appreciated by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The king requested both Bhattacharya and Rai to arrange his meeting with the Lord. When, however, the Lord was petitioned by his 2 stalwart devotees, he flatly refused to grant the request, even though it was put forward by his personal associates like Ramananda Rai and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. The Lord maintained that it is dangerous for a sannyasi to be in intimate touch with worldly, money-conscious men and with women. The Lord was an ideal sannyasi. No woman could approach the Lord even to offer respects. Women's seats were accommodated far away from the Lord. As an ideal teacher and acharya, he was very strict in the routine work of a sannyasi. Apart from being a divine incarnation, the Lord was an ideal character as a human being. So he was setting an example also. Because see, Krishna married so many princesses and gopis. He was interacting like a naughty boy with gopis. So for Krishna, there is no restriction, because he is Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself, but he had came for a particular reason. That's why he behaved like that, because he was setting an example for the sannyasis, right? So Prabhupada actually took part in so many marriages. He conducted those marriages. But what was the reason? Although sannyasis were not supposed to conduct or even attend or be in any marriage, but Prabhupada did that. Why? For the betterment of his own disciples, because they were having a live-in relationship and they were just living without marriage. So Prabhupada told them that you better marry each other and then live and produce children. Why do you live like that? So that's the reason why, for protection of his disciples, Prabhupada took that step on criticism of many of his god brothers or from India. Also, we see current sannyasis, they mingle, they live in grahastha's houses, but they are so detached that they never mix up with them. They will not talk social talks or anything. They are very, very focused on what they are doing, and from grahastha they only want a place and 2 times food. That's it. so that they can carry on their services, because they need to have some place to stay. So they will stay for 3 or 4 days. Only during COVID, they were staying for more days because it was very hard to move from one place to another. So that's the standard that ISKCON has maintained so far. Of course, I mean, many sannyasis fell, but those who are maintaining, those who are in good standing, they are maintaining very, very strict vows. So that's the example set by Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and taught to ISKCON devotees by Srila Prabhupada. And he was also following the same standards. Apart from being a divine incarnation, the Lord was an ideal character as a human being. His behavior with other persons was also above suspicion. In his dealing as Acharya, he was harder than the thunderbolt and softer than the rose. One of his associates, Junior Haridas, committed a great mistake by lustfully glancing at a young woman. The Lord as Supersoul could detect this lust in the mind of Junior Haridas, who was at once banished from Lord's association and was never accepted again, even though the Lord was implored to excuse Haridas for the mistake. Junior Haridas afterward committed suicide due to being disassociated from company of the Lord, because Lord's association is very, very elevated experience rather than all the lower experiences of the material world. So that's why he realized, and then he committed suicide, because there was the association of Lord was taken away. And the news of suicide was duly related to the Lord. Even at the time, the Lord was not forgetful of the offense, and he said that Haridas had rightly met with the proper punishment. See, he was very strict. On the principles of the renounced order of life and discipline, the Lord knew no compromise, and therefore, even though he knew that the king was a great devotee, he refused to see the king, only because the king was a dollar and cent man. By this example, the Lord wanted to emphasize the proper behavior for a transcendentalist. A transcendentalist has nothing to do with woman and money. He must always refrain from such intimate relations. The king was, however, favored by the Lord by the expert arrangement of the devotees. This means that the beloved devotees of the Lord can favor a neophyte more liberally than the Lord. So therefore, to have a mentor is very, very important, or those who are guiding us, or to have a guru, because on guru's recommendation, Krishna gives mercy to us, right? When guru pleads our case that they are trying very hard, Krishna, please give them mercy, like that. Pure devotees therefore never commit an offense at the feet of another pure devotee. An offense at the lotus feet of the Lord is sometimes excused by the merciful Lord, but an offense at the feet of a devotee is very dangerous for one who actually wants to make progress in devotional service. So we know the story of Amrish Maharaj and Durvasa Muni. So Durvasa Muni got so angry at Amrish Maharaj that he created a demon to kill Amrish Maharaj. But then Amrish Maharaj was such a great devotee that Lord Sudarshan Chakra was protecting him all the time. Lord has given him that gift and protection. So that Sudarshan Chakra started chasing Durvasa Rishi. The Sudarshan already killed the demon, and then he was chasing Durvasa Rishi. And then Durvasa Rishi went to abode of Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, then Lord Vishnu, and Lord Vishnu said that you have to go to the devotee whom you have offended, because I cannot do anything. You have to beg forgiveness from them only, right? So offense at the devotee's feet is very, very dangerous, right? So never we speak bad or ill about devotees or do ill to them, anything. As long as the Lord remained at Puri, thousands of his devotees used to come to see him during the Rath Yatra cart festival of Lord Jagannath. And during the car festival, the washing of Gundicha temple under the direct supervision of the Lord was an important function. So still there is Gundicha temple which is washed, for arrival of the chariots of the Lord. The Lord's congregational Sankirtan movement at Puri was a unique exhibition for the mass of people. That is the way to turn the mass mind towards spiritual realization. The Lord inaugurated this system of mass Sankirtan, and like how we do kirtans, like 40 people, 50 people, 100 people are there. Even like big kirtaniyas like Janvi Mataji, Harrison, Achyut Gopi Mataji, Radhika Prabhu. So they all gather like more than 500 to 1000 people at a time. So they are such great, and there are many more in ISKCON. So this is the way to turn people's heart to Krishna. And leaders of all countries can take advantage of this spiritual movement in order to keep the mass of people in a pure state of peace and friendship with one another. This is now the demand of present human society all over the world. After some time, the Lord again started on his tour toward northern India, and he decided to visit Vrindavan and its neighboring places. He passed through the jungles of Jharkhand, Madhya Bharat, and all the wild animals also joined his Sankirtan movement. Of course, his supreme personality of Godhead. So, like all the living entities get influenced like that by even his presence. The wild tigers, elephants, bears, and deer all together accompanied the Lord, and the Lord accompanied them in Sankirtan. So they were chanting the holy name, not in a like a way that how we do, like musically or something, but they were taking holy names of Krishna. By this he proved that by the propagation, actually I saw one video of a dog also in Vrindavan who was saying Radhe, Radhe, like that. Even the wild animals can live in peace and friendship, and what to speak of men who are supposed to be civilized. No man in the world will refuse to join the Sankirtan movement, nor is the Lord's Sankirtan movement restricted to any caste, creed, color, or species. Here is direct evidence of his great mission. He allowed even the wild animals to partake in his great movement. On his way back from Vrindavan, he first came to Prayag, where he met Rupa Goswami. So these are disciples of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He met Rupa Goswami along with his younger brother Anupam. Then he came down to Banaras, Varanasi for 2 months. He instructed Sri Sanatan Goswami. So Sanatan Goswami was Rupa Goswami's elder brother. He instructed Sri Sanatan Goswami in transcendental science. The instruction to Sanatan Goswami is in itself a long narration, and full presentation of the instruction will not be possible. Lord instructed Sanatan Goswami actually. Yeah. For 2 months in Varanasi. Lord himself, such a great fortune. The instruction to Sanatan Goswami is in itself a long narration, and full presentation of the instruction will not be possible here. The main ideas are given as follows. Sanatan Goswami, formerly known as Sakara Mallika, so he changed his name to serve the Mughal governor, because the governor said that if you don't serve me, then I am going to kill all your people of your society. And why he wanted Sanatan Goswami to serve in his kingdom or in his state? Because Sanatan Goswami was a highly respected scholar, intellectual personality, and people were much in influence of Sanatan Goswami and Rupa Goswami. So this Nawab thought that it will be very easy for me to have the people agree to our policies and all those things, and also their work is very good, effective, so I'll be very free when I go for the battles and all. That was the plan. Sanatan Goswami, formerly known as Sakara Malik, was in the cabinet service of Bengal government under the regime of Nawab Hussain Shah. He decided to join with the Lord and thus retired from the service. On his way back from Vrindavan, when he reached Varanasi, the Lord became the guest of Sri Tapan Mishra and Chandrasekhar, assisted by a Maharashtra Brahmana. At that time, Varanasi was headed by a great sannyasi of the Mayavad school named Shripad Prakashananda Saraswati. When the Lord was at Varanasi, the people in general became more attracted to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu on account of his mass Sankirtan movement. Wherever he visited, especially the Vishwanath temple, thousands of pilgrims would follow him. Some were attracted by his bodily features and others were attracted by his melodious songs glorifying the Lord. So, of course, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself. So people were just drawn to him. They were so attracted seeing his glory, effulgence, and the beautiful singing. So, so many followers he made. The Mayavadi sannyasis designated themselves as Narayan. We have discussed this, right? The Mayavadis say that we all are gods. Only Maya is covering us. So they designated themselves as Narayan. Varanasi is still overflooded with many Mayavadi sannyasis. Some people who saw the Lord in his Sankirtan party. So this is very important to note here. It is very hard to differentiate a Mayavadi from a devotee, because they are not always saying like that we are gods, we are God, but they have this conception in their mind, right? So you will understand when they speak about Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam like that, they will never portray Krishna as a person. Okay, they consider Krishna as a formless, and they consider Krishna as an ordinary human being just like us, and they consider for him also that he became God, okay, once the Maya's covering was removed. So nobody can become God. God's position is already filled with Krishna, right? So they don't know this, and I mean they know or they don't know, I don't know, but they don't have this conception, proper conception. So therefore, for all of us as devotees, it is very, very important to be very vigilant. Even among devotees, we can find Mayavadis who really don't consider Krishna as a person, or don't have that much sufficient faith, and they try to do all the things by themselves on their own power, and they never remember Krishna, or they never take shelter of Krishna. It's just not, it just doesn't happen for them. So even among devotees, and we can look in ourselves also, that how much impersonalist or personalist we are. That is determined by our relationship with devotees also, right? So as much as loving relationship is there, that much personalism is there in us, right? So these are very important things to understand. So Varanasi is still overflooded with many Mayavadi sannyasis. Some people who saw the Lord in his Sankirtan party considered him to be actually Narayan, and this report reached the camp of great sannyasi Prakashananda Saraswati. In India, there is always a kind of spiritual rivalry between Mayavad and Bhagavad school. Means this impersonalist and personalist, means devotees and who consider Krishna as formless. And thus, when the news of the Lord reached Prakashananda, he knew that the Lord was a Vaishnava sannyasi, and therefore he minimized the value of the Lord before those who brought him the news. Because see, why they minimize the value of devotees? Because they think that, oh, devotees just eat, sing and dance. They don't learn shlokas, they don't have any intellectual orientation like that. They think about devotees. Their path is just very simple. But as devotees, we understand that our path is internalization of Krishna consciousness, and that's a big deal. What things actually gratify our senses or our mind, we refrain to do those for pleasure of Krishna, right? So our path is really very, very difficult. Difficult in the sense, not that way difficult like in a worldly sense, because Krishna is always helping and supporting such devotees, right, who are determined to please him. But these Mayavadi are more tending to Jnani side, so they consider devotees to be just like not doing anything, such kind of people. So he tried to minimize the value of Lord before those who brought him the news. He deprecated the activities of Lord because of his preaching the Sankirtan movement, which was in his opinion nothing but religious sentiment. So they think we are sentimentalist. Prakashananda was profound student of the Vedanta, and he advised Vedanta. See, they are very knowledgeable people, but in a wrong direction, because they don't, even after so much knowledge, if they are not coming to conclusion that Krishna is a supreme personality of Godhead, he is a personality, he is a person, then that knowledge is of no use basically. but only materially it looks like, oh, they are very scholarly people, but they don't get the essence. Prakashananda was a profound student of Vedanta, and he advised his followers to give attention to the Vedanta and not to indulge in Sankirtan, because according to him it was just sentimentalism. One devotee Brahmana who became a devotee of the Lord did not like the criticism of Prakashananda, and he went to the Lord to express his regrets. He told the Lord that when he uttered the Lord's name before the sannyasi Prakashananda, he later strongly criticized the Lord. Although the Brahmana heard Prakashananda uttering several times the name Chaitanya, but he never said Sri Krishna Chaitanya, because they don't utter the name of Krishna. So, although chanting is so simple thing, right? But many people won't do it. They don't do it because they cannot utter the name of Krishna. They don't have that kind of mercy because of their own attitude. The Brahmana was astonished to see the sannyasi Prakashananda could not vibrate the sound Krishna even once, although he uttered the name Chaitanya several times. The Lord smilingly, so Chaitanya for Mayavadis is what? Atma or consciousness. So again, that is a Jnani perspective. So he will say Chaitanya many times, but he will not say Krishna. The Lord smilingly explained to the devotee Brahmana why the Mayavadi cannot utter the holy name of Krishna. The Mayavadis are offenders at the lotus feet of Krishna, although they utter always Brahma, Atma or Chaitanya, etc. And because they are offenders at the lotus feet of Krishna, they are actually unable to utter the holy name of Krishna. Now, why are they offenders? Because a person who has a personality, they are saying that he is impersonal. This is such a great offense. Like, suppose somebody says that your husband or your wife doesn't have any form. They don't have feet, they don't have any limbs, they don't have any personal existence. It is very offensive for us to hear, right? If anybody says like that. So, if anybody thinks that Krishna is formless, then it is a great offense at lotus feet of Krishna. Because they are offenders at the lotus feet of Krishna, they are actually unable to utter the holy name of Krishna. The name Krishna and the personality of Godhead Krishna are identical. And that's what we learn when we are chanting. We should be focused because Krishna is right there in his personality as his name. There is no difference in the absolute realm between the name, form or person of the absolute truth, because in the absolute realm everything is transcendental bliss. There is no difference between the body and the soul for personality of Godhead Krishna. Thus, he is different from the living entity who is always different from his outward body. So this is how we are different, we and Krishna. We have a material body, he has a spiritual body, right? But yes, we are also Satchidananda like Krishna, but in very, very minute quantity. Because of Krishna's transcendental position, it is very difficult for a layman to actually know the personality of Godhead Krishna, his holy name and fame, etc. His name, fame, form and pastimes all are one and the same transcendental identity, and they are not knowable by the exercise of material senses. So even when we are hearing about Krishna, we are associating with Krishna. We are chanting, we are associating with Krishna. We are reading about Krishna or Bhagavatam, we are associating with Krishna. Right now we are associating with Krishna as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Last paragraph for today. The transcendental relationship of pastimes of the Lord is the source of still more bliss than one can experience by realization of Brahman or by becoming one with Supreme. So the relationship always has more juice because there is a reciprocation, ongoing reciprocation. That's more interesting. There is more affection, more love, more joy in sharing this relationship rather than just merging into the Brahman or just having the realization of Brahma Jyoti or merging with the Lord. And these both things the Mayavadis do. But devotees try to have a relationship with the Lord, and they say, like Bhakti Vinod Thakur has said, even if I am born as a worm in the stool, if I get to do your service, that is acceptable to me. right? So that is the relationship of devotees with the Lord, and that's why they are not fearful of any situation in the life, because the reciprocation is ongoing. It's just going on, right? Krishna is always there with us. Had it not been so, then those who are already situated in transcendental bliss of Brahman would not have been attracted by the transcendental bliss of the pastimes of the Lord. So Shukadeva Goswami actually stayed in the womb of his mother for 16 years because he was so concerned or so afraid of Maya to attack him as soon as he comes in this world. But on instruction of Krishna, he came because Vyasdev requested Krishna. So he came, Vyasdev's son, Shukadeva Goswami. So he came out, but he was like a fully grown person. So he just walked out of home to, go in the forest. But Vyasdev wanted him to hear Bhagavatam. So therefore Vyasdev sent some of disciples behind him who were chanting the verses of Srimad Bhagavatam. So Bhagavatam is so attractive that even the person like Shukadeva Goswami, who was a impersonalist because he was so afraid of Maya, who had walked away from his house, he got so attracted and so interested that he asked that from where you are chanting these verses, because he had full knowledge, right? So his knowledge culminated into affection. So then they brought him to his father Vyasdev, and Vyasdev then told him complete Srimad Bhagavatam, and that's how he became a devotee of Krishna actually. So the people who have Brahman realization, they also get attracted to Srimad Bhagavatam or transcendental pastimes of Lord, because they are so sweet and so beautiful, right? So what was the line? That the transcendental relationship is much better than realization of Brahman or by becoming one with the Supreme. Because if this was not the case, then transcendental bliss of Brahman, already those who have this, they will not get attracted by transcendental pastimes of the Lord. But in Shukadeva Goswami's case, he has proved that Bhagavatam has superlative position. Okay, so we will stop here and continue next week. So any discussion today? Nobody raised their hand to reading.
My day is here, that's why I couldn't.
I understood. No problem.
Same for me, Mataji.
Oh, but I so much appreciate that you are still trying to make it possible to come and hear. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you for your association. I know you are very tired, but you still came.
No, I have not put hair oil today. Yeah, but
no,
yeah, work is...
No, I'm not talking about your hair. Your eyes look tired.
I know,
and I look the same, trust me.
This is the time. It's late, right? But I have purposely kept it late so that everybody is done with their work and they can hear, in a relaxed way.
Right. Yeah. No, that's true.
Yeah, no worries, Mataji. I'm fine. Today Ekadashi also, so I wanted to chant a little bit extra. So I was just, pushing myself along with the work. So that's also a little bit tired. But I'm very happy to have all of your association and read this, be able to be of some
Thank you,
service.
Mataji. Same for us too.
Thank you. Okay, so no discussions today. Hare Krishna, Rutul Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. Yeah, Seema Mataji, you have anything?
No, Mataji. Thank you.
Okay.
Krishna.
Okay, then we will meet next Monday. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Kripa sindhubhyo vacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo. Hari Bol.